Good clothing doesn't save a messy image. That stunning Valentino dress, that dream Chanel bag, the perfect Louboutin shoes. And yet, something seems out of place when you look in the mirror. Do you know why? Because small details can completely sabotage your look, transforming what would be elegant into something that screams carelessness. I'm Carol, and today I'll reveal the secrets that truly elegant women know, those small details that might be destroying your appearance without you even noticing. Subscribe to the channel, turn on notifications, and leave your like to transform your elegance into something profitable. Believe me, when you finish this video, you'll never see your wardrobe the same way again. In the last season of The Crown, I observed how Princess Diana, magnificently portrayed by Elizabeth Debicki, conveyed supreme elegance even in her simplest moments. It wasn't just about her expensive clothes. It was about meticulous attention to detail. And that's exactly what separates truly sophisticated women from those who just seem to be trying. Let's look at the 10 mistakes that are ruining your look even when you think you're super put together. 1. Visible hair roots. No matter how much you invested in that Prada outfit or that Gucci bag, visible roots scream, "I didn't have time to take care of myself." We live in a society where, fairly or unfairly, we are constantly evaluated by our appearance, especially us women. If you've decided to modify your natural hair color, you need to be committed to regular maintenance of that investment. A few years ago, I decided I wanted blonde highlights. It looked beautiful in the first few days, but with my busy schedule, endless meetings, and constant travel, maintenance became a nightmare. Even wearing my most sophisticated clothes, it always seemed like something was incomplete. That's when I realized that my natural brown hair was a much more elegant and practical choice for my lifestyle. Observe the most elegant women in the world. They choose hairstyles they can keep impeccable. It's not about having the blondest, reddest, or most fashionable hair. It's about having hair that always looks intentional and well cared for. Remember, if roots are starting to show and you don't have time to touch them up, consider a hairstyle that temporarily disguises the problem. An elegant bun, a sophisticated braid, or even a chic hat can be perfect allies while you schedule your next touch-up. 2. Hair elastic on the wrist. This small detail is the silent killer of elegance. I've seen women wearing diamond jewelry, haute couture clothes, and there it was. The innocent black elastic on the wrist, completely destroying the sophistication of the look. Recently, I was at a wedding and saw a beautifully dressed lady with an impeccable outfit, dazzling jewelry, and a red elastic on her wrist. With each hand movement to greet someone or hold a champagne flute, that elastic screamed emergency instead of elegance. Think about it. You would never see Blair Waldorf from Gossip Girl with a hair elastic on her wrist. Why? Because details matter, and a lot. Buy small elastic holders for your purse, or better yet, choose discreet models that can be mistaken for bracelets if they need to be visible. There are beautiful elastic options that look like jewelry and can stay on your wrist without compromising your look. But ideally, keep them stored or in your hair. 3. Messy bun. The famous messy bun has its place. At home, watching Netflix with a glass of wine, at the gym during that intense workout, or perhaps on a casual afternoon in the park. But in a professional environment, at important dinners, or on any occasion where elegance is required, definitely not. Observe the difference between an intentionally casual bun and one that's simply poorly done. The first is stylized with some strategically positioned loose strands, giving an air of unpretentious elegance. The second looks like you just woke up and didn't have time or desire to look in the mirror. When hours are short and I need to rush to an appointment, I prefer 1,000 times a low and elegant ponytail to a poorly done bun. A simple hairstyle, but executed with precision, conveys much more care and sophistication. Keep in your bag and in the car and on your desk at work a hair emergency kit, hairpins, discreet elastics, a fine comb, and a small bottle of serum for those rebellious strands. 5 minutes can make the difference between looking like you just stepped out of a magazine or like you just got out of bed, and not in a good way. 4. Unmanicured cuticles. This seemingly small detail can completely destroy the impression of sophistication that you worked so hard to create. Have you noticed how, in period films like Bridgerton, the hands of high society ladies are always impeccable? That's because well-cared-for hands have always been synonymous with refinement. Recently, at a women-only lunch, a high-ranking executive wore a stunning Armani outfit, wore an expensive watch, but her nails screamed neglect. The cuticles were dry and irregular, and the nail polish was peeling at the tips. That small detail compromised the entire impression of competence and attention to detail she was trying to convey. I'm not saying you need a professional manicure weekly, although if you can, why not? A small daily ritual solves it. A quality cuticle oil, a pusher, a soft file. 3 minutes a day to keep this detail in order can completely transform others' perception of you. And remember, nails without polish but well cared for and hydrated are infinitely more elegant than chipped or poorly done polish. When I don't have time for a complete manicure, I prefer to remove all the polish and keep my nails natural, clean, and well hydrated. The impression of care is what really matters. 5. Wrong foundation color. This is one of the most common beauty mistakes and, unfortunately, one of the most noticeable. I've seen stunning women, in breathtaking clothes, compromising their entire image by using a completely inadequate foundation for their skin tone. The mask effect, that clear line of demarcation between face and neck, is unforgivable in the world of elegance. It doesn't matter how much you spent on your Clive Christian perfume or your Chanel lipstick. If your foundation is wrong, the entire look is compromised. I remember a birthday party where a socialite wore an absolutely stunning Oscar de la Renta dress. Her jewelry was impeccable, her hair perfectly arranged, but her foundation, a few shades lighter than her natural skin, created an artificial effect that drastically diminished all the glamour of her look. Invest time in finding your perfect shade. Visit different brands, try various options, always testing the color on the jawline to ensure the perfect transition between face and neck. Remember that your skin changes color throughout the year. Lighter in winter, more tanned in summer, so you may need to have more than one foundation option. And more importantly, when in doubt, it's always better to opt for a slightly darker foundation than a lighter one. The effect is much more natural and forgivable. 6. Shopping bags as accessories. I observe elegant women. It's part of my job, my hobby, and my passion. And one thing we will never see is a truly sophisticated woman carrying shopping bags as if they were part of her daily accessories. We carry bags when we are actually shopping. After that, the content goes into our purse or home, simple as that. Walking around with several bags gives an air of disorganization, of someone who didn't properly plan their day. Once, on the Paris metro, I saw a lady with a classic Burberry coat, impeccable black pumps, and a discreet but obviously valuable watch. Her image was one of pure Parisian elegance, until I noticed the 3 different bags she carried along with her purse. The effect was immediate. From Parisian chic to overburdened tourist in seconds. Review what you really need to carry and invest in a suitable bag for your lifestyle. If you constantly find yourself carrying extra items, maybe it's time to consider a larger or more functional model. But believe me, your image will thank you when you eliminate the extra bags. 7. Visible lingerie. Unless it's an intentional and sophisticated part of the look, and there are elegant ways to incorporate lingerie as a fashion element, visible underwear is one of the biggest elegance mistakes a woman can make. Bra straps escaping from the blouse, evident panty lines under dresses or tight pants, that visible bra line through a thin t-shirt. All these accidents convey a clear message. You didn't pay attention to details before leaving home. It's no coincidence that Coco Chanel said that a woman who leaves without looking at herself in the mirror from behind has no true sense of elegance. A few extra seconds checking yourself in a mirror can avoid hours of discomfort due to the wrong perception others will have of you. Invest in appropriate pieces for each type of clothing. Strapless bras, seamless panties, bodysuits, nipple covers. The market is full of solutions to ensure that your underwear remains where it should, invisible to external eyes. Remember, even the best-dressed woman in the world will appear careless if her lingerie is showing in an unintentional way. This is a detail that true fashion connoisseurs never neglect. 8. Extremely dry skin. Skin hydration is more than a step in the beauty routine. It's a crucial component of the image of elegance. Dry skin not only appears unhealthy, but also ages prematurely and conveys a feeling of carelessness. I was at a fashion show recently when I noticed an influencer sitting in the front row. Her dress was stunning, her jewelry minimalist but perfectly chosen. However, when she approached to greet someone, I could notice her extremely dehydrated skin, with visible areas of flaking on her face. The entire impact of her carefully crafted look was compromised by this single detail. Always keep a moisturizer in your bag for touch-ups throughout the day. I never leave without mine, especially on trips or on days of intense air conditioning. During long flights, I don't mind looking like that crazy face mask lady. I prefer to disembark with hydrated skin rather than keep up appearances during the flight. Invest in a good skincare routine. It's not about expensive products, but about consistency. A good cleanser, a moisturizer suitable for your skin type, and daily sunscreen will do more for your appearance than any expensive makeup applied on neglected skin. 9. Split ends in hair. Letting your hair grow doesn't mean abandoning it to its own fate. Split and dry ends give hair an entangled, lifeless, and extremely careless appearance, regardless of how expensive your cut or coloring is. Even the simple act of tying up hair with split ends further highlights the problem. The dry ends become even more visible and attention-grabbing when the hair is tied in a ponytail or bun. Even if you're in the hair growth phase, regular maintenance to trim just the ends is essential. Don't be afraid. A good hairdresser knows how to cut only what's necessary to keep the ends healthy without compromising the length you've worked so hard to achieve. In addition to regular cuts, invest in appropriate hair treatments. Hydrating masks, nourishing oils, and heat protectors are essential to keep your hair looking healthy, especially if you frequently use heat tools. Hair with healthy ends looks much more elegant and cared for, even if it's simply tied in a basic ponytail. It's another one of those subtle details that make all the difference in the global perception of elegance. 10. Pet hair on clothes. As a pet lover, I'm completely in love with my sister's Yorkshire Canella. I perfectly know the challenge of keeping clothes free of pet hair. But, dear friend, there is nothing less elegant than showing up at an important dinner or work meeting with clothes covered in pet hair. Recently, I saw a coworker impeccably dressed giving an important presentation. Her suit was perfect, her posture confident, her makeup discreet but impeccable. However, when she turned to point something at the projector, there they were, dozens of cat hairs on the back of her black blazer. In seconds, her image of a meticulous professional was replaced by that of someone who didn't pay attention to the crucial detail before leaving home. Always have a lint roller at home, in the car, and at work. Check your clothes thoroughly before leaving, especially dark ones, which show light hairs more. If you have long-haired pets, consider storing your work clothes and special occasion outfits in protective covers. Another tip: fabrics like velvet, wool, and certain types of cotton are true pet hair magnets. If you have animals at home, it might be more practical to opt for less adhesive fabrics for everyday wear. It's a small detail that makes a huge difference in your overall image. After all, elegance is the sum of all the small cares we take. Now that we know what to avoid, let me share some secrets about what really makes a difference in the world of elegance. Consistency in care. Elegance is not about isolated moments of perfection, but about consistency in daily care. The truly elegant woman doesn't just dress up for special events. She maintains a standard of personal care every day. This doesn't mean wearing elaborate makeup to go to the supermarket or high heels to walk the dog. It means keeping nails always clean, hair combed, clothes appropriate for each occasion, and above all, a presentation that demonstrates respect for oneself and for others. Attention to invisible details. The details that no one sees are as important as those that everyone notices. Quality lingerie, even if no one sees it. Soft perfume, even on ordinary days. Skin hydration, even when not wearing makeup. These invisible habits build a solid foundation of elegance that naturally shines through, even when you're not trying to impress. Less is more. The most elegant women I know follow the principle of less is more. One statement accessory instead of several. A delicate fragrance instead of a dominant perfume. Makeup that enhances instead of transforms. Elegance doesn't shout to be noticed. It whispers and yet commands all the attention. Elegance is not about how much you spend, but about how carefully you live. It's not about expensive brands, but about conscious choices. It's not about constant perfection, but about consistent effort. If you flee from the mirror before leaving for fear of finding one of these 10 mistakes, it's time to change that relationship. The mirror should be your ally in building your elegant image, not your enemy. As the incomparable Audrey Hepburn once said, elegance is the only beauty that never fades. And she wasn't talking about expensive clothes or diamond jewelry. She was talking about that intangible quality that comes from self-care, attention to detail, and respect for oneself. If you felt inspired by this video, you already know. Subscribe to the channel, turn on notifications, and leave your like to transform your elegance into something profitable. And don't forget to check out my ebook, Be Elegant When Traveling, Global Etiquette for the Sophisticated Traveler. The link is in the first pinned comment. Elegance is not just in the expensive clothes you wear, but in the small details that show you care. As I always say, elegance is not what you wear, but how you live. Have you ever made any of these mistakes? Tell me in the comments. I'm curious to know which of these details you find most difficult to keep up with. See you in the next video.